All the network ready now. Okay. We're set, ma'am.
Let's talk our talk. Africa boys in diaspora. Chinebanichi TV. Voice of the voiceless, yo. Chinebanichi TV. Make we talk our talk, yo. Chinebanichi TV. Nobody can talk our talk for us, yo. Chinebanichi TV. Africa's a rise. Time don't reach, yo. Make we talk our talk, oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, everybody join the Chinebanichi TV. Now that it happen, no. Now that it selenge. We don't talk our mind, yo. As it be now, so we don't talk more.
Yes, so.
Mama, papa, brother, sister, even on the YouTube. Subscribe and follow Chinebanichi TV. Eba fukona botuno, eba fukona man. Now we'll be the voice of Africa in diaspora. Chinebanichi TV. Voice of Africa, where they show. Chinebanichi TV. Now where we go there. Chinebanichi TV. Gather your family, call everybody, yo. Chinebanichi TV. Missing more than one no way will
Yes, so my people, how you doing? I don't know where to start this apology, but I don't know what to do. For logistic reasons, we are behind schedule. I've kept this associate professor for over 1 hour here. She was punctual. She was logistic-wise. Her computer, her studio was up to date. But from my own side, there was a little complications in my studio. So please, but we said we are going to defeat the devil today. The girl child in Africa discussion and conversation must be heard in this show today. So please, I know that naturally we are behind schedule, but we can still make it. So if you are joining us now, hastily begin to share Benitex. I can see you. Those of you watching from YouTube, those on Instagram, those on X, those on TikTok. Oh yeah, this is today. Let me have the privilege to bring to this show Associate Professor Chiemeze Atama. Associate Professor Chiemeze Atama is a lecturer in University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and the CEO of the organization that sees that advocates for the welfare, the protection, and the consolidation and sustenance of sanity on the girl child in Africa. It's an organization that is Nigeria. Anyway, let me not blow her trumpet. Let me have the privilege to invite in the show Associate Professor Chiemeze Atama. Prof.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I'm happy that finally we are here. I also wish to join in this apology. It was not in any way intentional. We are happy that finally we are going to hold the conversation. And for some of you that kept, waiting for the program, we are grateful and we are not going to disappoint you. Thank you. As it has already been said, my name is Chiemeze Atama, and I'm the Executive Director of Equity Watch Initiative, a non-governmental organization that is committed to promoting gender equality and empowering women and girls in rural communities in Nigeria. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Yeah, I've shared the live video to you already on your WhatsApp. For those who have been waiting, maybe they're on WhatsApp, you can also use your phone and share it now. The live connection is there already, and I've already shared it to your WhatsApp, so you can share to your friends because they must have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this long. Charles, James Ikechukwu, they are falling in already. Benitez, Chi, Blessing, and yeah, I can see you, Charles. Thank you. So all of you, I can see you. Those of you on X, on Twitter, yeah, thank you. Those on YouTube, thank you. So without wasting time, we have already taken your time. We're going to delve really into why we're here today. Prof, but before we go in, Let people not think that you just fell from heaven and became a professor. We would like to hear a little of your beginning. How was it? As a girl child, as an Nsukka lady growing, how was it before you became an associate professor? I know it didn't come, it didn't just fall in there as an anointing and you captured it. There was a process, there was hard
Yeah.
work, there were challenges. So can you share a little bit of your beginning so that the girl child will know that the difference between a tree and a seed is time. The difference between a child, a girl child we are talking about today, and an associate professor or a mom is time.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. I'm so happy to have that question. It has not been easy, and this is a story that I was packaging to share on a very good day. Incidentally, you have provided me today with the opportunity to share this story. I I come from a family of 8 children, an only son, and 8 girl and 7 girls. Sorry. And so growing up was not so easy because I come from a background where the girl child is not valued. Of course, that is our story in Africa. And so having 7 girls in a family with only one boy was not something that anybody was praying for. And of course, my mother had her own share of the experience. And the expectation was that these girls are eventually going to end up with either prostitution or they'll be married off at 12, 13, 14, 15, as the case may be. Incidentally, it turned out not to be what people expected because apart from the family background I come from, I also lived among the Idoma people in Benue State, where I saw girls passing through a lot, especially with respect to sexual and reproductive health issue. These girls were seen as baby making machines. So at age 12, at age 13, at age 14, we are already expected to get married and start producing children. And you may end up producing these children with different men, because that is what they thought I lived, started making me to question from the very beginning, even ever before I entered secondary school. I was already worried about the situation of the girl child. I was constantly asking myself, why is it like this? Why is it like this? A lot of other experiences, including my experience with my first menstruation, started forming me, making me from the beginning. And so, when I wanted to venture into the university after my graduation, it was not also easy because my family is a very poor family, and people never expected that my father could send me to school. So the question that was, asked, people confronted my father to ask them this question: how do you think you'll be able to train your girl child in school, in the university? And my father, kept defending, telling them how he's not sure, but that is what he wants to try. And I eventually found myself in the university. So, having in mind the background I was coming from, the experiences, and what I felt about the girl child kept me going in school. And I ended up becoming the best graduating student in my set with GPA of 4.38. That, of course, qualified me to apply for a lecturing job in my department. And of course, for you to be a lecturer, you must have to further your education. So that also enabled me to go for my master's, and eventually was able to do my PhD in the University of Nigeria, where I am based. Having a PhD does not necessarily guarantee your promotion. What guarantees promotion for us is publishing in first-tier journals. In the global stage, you must have to be seen. You have to be visible in terms of publications. And so, knowing about that, I started working very early in my academic career to publish my work, do the little I was able to do. And that was how I got to the position of associate professor, you know. But more importantly for me is even how I came up with this organization that is called Equity Watch Initiative. At a point in my career life, I looked at myself and I said, Chemeze, you have gathered enough certificates, you have first degree, master's, PhD, and you are doing research. And of what use will all these certificates be if it's not going to impact the life of a girl child? If it's not going to be of use to the average person on the street? Is there a way you could translate some of these researches into impact? And that was eventually what led to my founding this NGO in 2020. Yeah. The,
It's like you really prepared for this answer because, you know, so normally this answer used to throw people off, but because you said you have the urge initially that you are preparing for a day that you will say this story, and eventually it came your way today, and
yes.
that shows you really you took time because the segmented and very proper way you are delivering it shows that you really you really have it at the back of your mind to present it.
To tell the
Anyway,
story, yes, sir.
but I want to ask something very important now, and look at it from this dimension. We are African voice in diaspora, and we are talking of African girl child today. Something propelled me to establish this platform to give Africans voice. What propelled you to start the Watch Initiative that is concentrating on equity, tolerance, and care and welfare of African children,
Thank
especially
you
the
very
girls?
much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I've touched on it briefly. The first,
Yeah.
like I said, was my background coming from a family of eight, a boy and seven girls. And people expecting these seven girls not to amount to anything. The expectation was that we are going to be married off to anybody who is interested. Our mother is not worth anything because she has mostly girls. And why on earth would you have girls as a woman? Is a constant question that people put out there. I remember that I was already old a bit because of the number of children my mother had, and I'm the firstborn. So when my mother was having the last two, I was already relatively knowledgeable. And each time my mother gives birth, when my father comes home, because I grew up in the village and my parents lived in Benue State. So each time there is a birth, my father will always come to the village to announce to our people that my mother has given birth. And each time that happens, you see people in their clusters discussing, sympathizing with her, showing pity that she has given birth to that same gender that she used to give birth to. So it was not funny. I was observing them with keen interest and asking myself questions constantly about my future and the future of my sisters. So having that at my in my head, and also growing up in an environment where girls we are not valued. I grew up among the Dormers in Benue State, and I saw all the issues: teenage pregnancy here and there, people, girls not going to school. They are seen to just start menstruating and get married off. Started pushing me to think beyond an average person in terms of the situation of the girl child. And incidentally, when I got admission to study sociology in the University of Nigeria, I also came across a particular course that is called Women in Society. So that course also gave me room to learn a little bit about the girl child, to learn a little bit about women in society. the situation of women in society. And that triggered off a lot of thinking in me and made me to, when I now ventured into my postgraduate studies, I started also doing a lot of gender research. I did a lot of gender research. For instance, my master's was focused on maternal health. My PhD was focused also on the sociocultural factors affecting maternal health. In fact, I focused that study specifically among the dormers, interrogating some of the gender norms, and how that affect the health of the woman. So after that PhD, I continued with my research around positive masculinity, around other gender issues. And at the point I had to ask myself, to what doing influence the average person on the street? Is there no way that some of this research could be translated into programming to have an impact on the girl child, to have an impact on women? I am so passionate about women and girls that I could no longer sleep. But specifically, it was a research, an intercontinental research we did in 2020. That research happened in Nigeria, in Rwanda, and DRC. I headed the Nigerian, one of my colleagues headed the Nigerian team, of which I assisted him in doing that. And that also exposed me to the toxic masculine ideologies of men and how that impacts the girl child. And I saw that, researching and researching and researching may not be able to address that issue. That I also needed to go to the field. I needed to go to the communities to raise awareness, to sensitize both the girls and the boys, the men and women, about these toxic ideologies so that we can come off it and begin to value the girl child. And that was eventually what led me to the founding of Equity Watch Initiative in June 2020. Thank you, sir. Oh my gosh, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Sorry, sir, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I
Okay.
can.
So let me say, breaking barriers. Many African girls face cultural, social, and economic obstacles to education and leadership. What are the biggest challenge they encounter, and how can we break these barriers?
Thank you very much, sir. It is disheartening to hear that about 9.5 million African children are not in school. And out of these 9.5 million, more than 50% of them are girls. About 36% of these girls did not even finish their basic school. It is disheartening to see that happening in 21st century of our time. Even when we know that education is a tool to societal change, even when we know that education is like a tool for development, girls are kept at home, girls are taken out of school, girls are not able to get education just because they are girls. And this is happening because of a lot of issues, a lot of cultural gender norms and cultural barriers that have made us to think that girls are not worth anything. And that is making us to keep more than 50% of our population at home.
Yeah, a little bit of network hinges while she's coming back strong. We have a little bit of network hinges from her side. But the content you see, she's flowing, and this is an interaction that concerns the girl. If you're still here watching and you have not tagged any girl child in Africa, and I don't think you know what you're doing. So this topic is your topic. I think I think when she finds her footing, I'm going to bring her back. So what is happening now is that she has a distorted network from her own background. But if you are a girl child and you are not listening to this clarion call for your emancipation, and you're not sharing, you're a girl child, you're listening to this kind of thing, and you have not shared this particular topic to people that you understand, women and girls and others. You're not tagging people to come and listen to what is being said here. That means you don't even know that you're a girl and you don't even know the value. I think she's back and back from the network. Mommy, can you hear me now?
Yes, I was hearing you all along.
Yeah, it's just that you are the flow was being distorted by network. So that's why I'll put you aside and bring it back. So you can continue
Okay.
from where you from. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. We are talking about the barriers that stop girls from getting education. And I have mentioned that there are a number of them. One of them is poverty. And I say that what baffles me is that at this time and age, where people know the importance of education, we are still keeping girls at home. And that is why you find that 9.5 million girls in Africa are not in school. And what are we going to achieve by that? How do we get ensure that the societal change we anticipate, the development we are anticipating, can happen without education? And this is happening because of flimsy reasons, ideologies that are very toxic, cultural ideologies, gender norms.
Oh, before she got distorted, she was talking about the barriers. What is barriers and challenges girl child is having in Africa. Now, some of them are out of school just because they are girls, not because for any reason. According to her, she called it the flimsy reason why girls are denied of education just because they are girls. So, and these are barriers, cultural barriers, and challenges the girl child is facing in Africa. She mentioned some millions of people, and the 50% of them are girls, and that is what he's talking about. So if you can listen, I think she will fall back, and her network will be stronger, and it will be made clear to all of us. Okay, I think she's back in the studio. She's back in the studio, and we pray that the network is stronger now. Okay, mommy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So if your network is bad, we'll just bring you back and it will refresh.
I have been talking all along. I didn't even know my network was bad. Can you
Yeah.
hear
So
me now?
well, very well, very well.
Okay, so which one did you get last? Let me know where to start
So
from.
we're following you, not just after you said just for flimsy reasons, girls are denied of education for no concrete reasons. You understand? So just because they are girls, you are almost summarizing the answer before your network got distorted.
Okay, so I was talking about all the cultural barriers, toxic masculine ideologies, lack of access to menstrual products that is a big problem in Africa. So, for instance, over the years, we have been working around menstrual health, and we have realized that for whatever reason, you find that 1 in every 10 girls is not able to go to school because the person cannot access menstrual products. And that for me is an unimaginable scenario in a country of plenty like Nigeria and Africa, that girls are not able to get something as simple as menstrual products.
Network.
And that
Oh, network is our problem. The flow of this lecture, and I call it lecture this time because the way she's presenting it shows how prepared and shows how experienced she has and the research, the energy and research she has put into this kind of topic, and you can see the flow shows that she has been on this for quite a decade now. You know, so 2020 is when the organization was established. But prior to the organization, she has been doing a lot of research from her experience as a child. She has been working on the girl child in Africa. And that's what is telling us about barriers, cultural barriers, and extreme, masculine hostilities against African ladies or girls or women generally. And that is what she's talking about today. So as she comes back, network, get her free, we're bringing her back to continue with more questions or more answers to our questions. So stay tuned as we wait for her network to clear. But before then, let me see. Can we dance?
Let's talk our talk. Africa boys in diaspora. Chinebani GTV. Voice of the voiceless, yo. Chinebani GTV. Make we talk our talk, yo. Chinebani GTV. Nobody can talk our talk for us, yo. Chinebani GTV. Africa's a rise. Time don't reach, yo. Make we talk our talk, oh. Oh yeah, everybody join the Chinedani GTV. Now they happen now. Now they selenge. We don't talk our mind, yo. As it be now, so we don't talk more. Mama, papa, brother, sister, even know the YouTube. Subscribe and follow Chinedani GTV. Eba fukona potuno, eba fukona man. Now we'll be the voice of Africa in diaspora. Chinebani GTV. Voice of Africa, where they show. Chinebani GTV. Now where we go there. Chinebani GTV. Gather your family, call everybody. Oh. Chinebani GTV.
Yes, so she is back. I know there's network challenge, mommy. So once it's get distorted, I'll take you out. If you come back, it will be refreshed and we'll be hearing. So this has been a wonderful flow. It shows that for a decade or more than a decade now, you really spend time, researching on this particular topic because the flow engulfed me. The flow made me, and I said, if you're a guy and you're watching on Instagram, you're watching on YouTube, on TikTok, and you're not sharing what Associate Professor Chimezie Atama is dishing out, that means you don't, as an African child, you don't even know that your emancipation is at your doorstep. So share this live video, tag a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. So continue, Mark. Hello, can you hear me now?
okay. Are we still on the cultural? Yes, I
Yeah, you
can
just
hear you.
summarized.
Are we still on the cultural
Just
barriers?
summarize the barrier. So maybe I ask you another question because this network is bridging the flow. I don't know why, but I have another question for you, Mom. The next question for you is: empowerment through education is often called the greatest equalizer. How can African societies ensure that more girls have access to quality education? And what policies or initiatives have proven successful from your research?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to use Nigeria. I hope you are here. Can you hear me now?
Very well,
Okay.
Mom.
I'm going to maybe make a little reference to Nigeria rather than and the whole of Africa so that we'll be able to. The thing is that in Nigeria, for instance, a lot of efforts are being made to improve on girl child education. There is constant effort to improve on infrastructure, to get girls enrolled in school, and this effort, the benefit didn't just happen overnight and was not even only the effort of the government. A lot of people, the development partners, the NGOs, even community members have coming up with different initiatives to ensure that girls get there are things that we feel are minor that are very, very important. Getting girls to enroll in education is one thing. However, ensuring that they complete their education is another thing. So what we have seen over the years in the field is that enrollment does not necessarily translate to completion of their education. And for
Oh,
me, what we need to do as a people is to begin to look at those underlying factors that now makes them to enroll but not to complete. What are those
yes.
things that makes them not to be able to complete their education? And that is where, for me, we cannot rule out the effort of those who are in the field, NGOs who are in the field working tirelessly, people generating first-hand information about what is happening in the field, especially at the rural level, in the rural communities. So you find that something as small as not having menstrual pad can make a girl not to go to school. I have encountered a teacher, for instance, who told me that whenever this girl starts menstruating, they stop coming to school. In fact, she disclosed that for her as a teacher, she has taken it as a responsibility that any day she's going to school, she people constantly running, to her to ask for a pad. So for something as little as this, is it that our governments cannot invest on it? Is it that the education of these girls is not of concern to us? And you now see that I consider it as a violation of human rights for girls not to know about their sexual and reproductive health, for example. So knowledge about menstruation, knowledge about sexual and girls as they are growing up. I remembered myself, I never had got any information about menstruation until the day I saw it. And that is why you find that some of these girls will even get pregnant even without knowing about menstruation. They will get pregnant even without. So is it that we cannot not feed these girls with the right information that will enable them to, to live as a complete human being? For me, I usually say that not telling the young is a violation of human rights. But you find that in rural communities, especially, information about sexual and reproductive health, about menstruation, about menstrual hygiene management is like a secret. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody is telling it to these girls. Nobody. So it is a big problem and it will keep impacting on the girl child. It will keep affecting their education. And so when people are saying more people are now enrolling, government is making efforts. For me, they are looking at. There are things that are very, very important that we are not paying attention to. You go to the market and find that these parts, keep on increasing. The prices keep on increasing every day. Is it that we cannot make effort to at least subsidize this part and allow these girls to get access to it? And that is why in my organization, we are tackling the problem from every angle, sewing reusable clothes pad, begging people to donate pad so that we go to different communities to them. Because of what I've seen a situation where girls are being molested, where they are being raped, where they are being subjected to all manner of inhuman treatment, and even gotten pregnant because they don't have access to pad. Because when a girl child is menstruating, a lot of things happens that time. And that is why we are thinking that for us to address the issue of starting and not completing school, the issue of child marriage, the issue of teenage pregnancy, the issue addressing this menstruation is one of the fundamental things to do. So we are thinking that government should come up with policies. Is it to subsidize the pad or even empower people or bring in more companies to address this issue so that these girls can have access? So making policy that will be gender sensitive, because some of the policies you find, some of the educational policies are not gender sensitive. For instance, you go to a girl child that is menstruating as in school have no place to change her pad. So the person will prefer to stay at home rather than go to school and get embarrassed. Plus all the stigma that is associated with menstruation. So they wouldn't even want to see stain or to see themselves stained, during that menstruation, because seeing yourself stained will amount to a lot of issues for you. People will cajole you. People will do all manner of things about to change our people's mindset about the fact that menstruation is not a taboo. Menstruation is nothing bad at all. So even you as a father, even you as a mother, you as a government has a role to play to address this particular issue. Other cultural norms, other gender norms that has to do with our ideologies about girl child education, that has to do with our ideologies about the fact that we think that these girls should be just there for marriage. They are baby factories and they shouldn't education also has to change. So visually, to address some of these basic issues that is impacting on the education of the girl child, that has constantly been our major concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. So look at what you said is, I think, is true, and if government can really look into it and embrace it in their policies, I think it will be a very serious issue advantage to the girl child. So I have another question that says cultural norms and gender roles. In many African communities, traditional gender roles still limit opportunities for girls. How can we balance cultural preservation with the need for gender equality? That is what your advocacy is all about.
Yes. So is looking at it, I just spoke about menstruation as one of the factors. But when you look at it critically, attach value to the things we appreciate, especially what we think about being a man or being a woman, is also one of the factors that affect the girl child education. For instance, when we talk about the mental workload of a girl child, she's supposed to wash the dishes, she's supposed to make food for the family, she's supposed to go to the market, she's going to go to the stream to fetch water, she will go to the farm to fetch firewood, she will see a lot of work on the girl child that limits. So by the time the child is even going to the school, she's already carrying a lot of load. Her mental health is no more balanced because of all the work that she do, especially in rural communities. When you go to the rural communities, you find that there are a whole lot of issues that impact on the girl child. The girl child has to do a whole lot of work, in addition to going to the school. So the child goes to the school and meet teachers this mental load that she's carrying. And again, she's being abused for maybe coming to school late. She's been punished for not doing assignments. She's been so at the end of the day, you find that the child might even prefer not to come to school than to come. So what are we talking about? That for us to get these girls back to school, for us to ensure that these girls are getting education, because we have all seen the advantage of educating a girl child is too numerous that we cannot afford not to educate a girl child. So having seen that, how do we change these ideologies? How do we begin to train our children to ensure that the work that the boys, the girls are doing, we also teach the girls how to do it? I remembered very well, because some of these things come from even the schools where the children go to. There is this gender roles that are attached to the girls. And sometimes these roles are at the detriment of their self-esteem and confidence. I remembered when my first daughter was in school, she came back one day crying that in her class, one of the teachers asked them to darken the board and told them that all the girls should go darken the board while the boys should sit down and wait for them. And because my daughter was was very smart in school, she felt that there are boys that needed to even darken the board, not her, because of the effort she was making in school. And the way to darken the board. And the person giving this instruction is a teacher. So what information are you passing to the girls? What information are you passing to the boys? So we have always been advocating that when it comes to these roles, we should encourage everybody to do these roles equally. The boys should wash the dishes as much as the girls also should wash the dishes. It shouldn't be meant for only one person, because overloading the girls makes it difficult for them to cope with school. And at the end of the day, because of the whole load, all the loads that they are carrying. So this thing is a collective, it requires a collective actions, because the teachers have to change their mindset. Men and boys has to change their mindset. The policy makers need to intervene. It is a holistic thing. It's not going to be one man's business. So we need to deal squarely with some of these gender roles that we feel are assigned to the
Okay, okay.
girls, and the ones we feel that are assigned to the boys.
Yeah, that's wonderfully said, Mom. Thank you. Because I've spent a lot of time before, so we're just trying to see how far we can do it. This would have been, we can still have you next time. We have now known how to resolve all this, so we can still have you phase two after today. So I would like to be going to the final question before we run the curtain, because um, before I ask you, last question, call to action. As an expert, this field, in this field, what message do you have for policymakers, educators, and Africans in diaspora, championing the rights and development of African girls? And simultaneously, I would want you to also add, this your vision. Do you really want to carry it alone? Or do you also call for people that will collaborate with you to make sure it comes to fulfillment?
Thank you very much, sir. So when we say call to action, it means that everybody should be held accountable to this issue, human rights. It is a human rights issue. In Nigerian constitution is even enshrined that getting basic education is one of the things that we should get. So the call to action is a holistic thing that requires everybody attention. What is it that you can do as a collective, as an individual, to address this issue? Not educating these girls will cost us a lot. Allowing these girls to stay to be out of school will cost us a lot. A whole lot, than to keep doing whatever we can do to ensure that they go back to school, to ensure that they complete their their secondary school education at least. As you can see, if you look at all the frightening statistics, you'll be concerned because Nigeria, for instance, has the highest maternal mortality rate. We have the highest child mortality rate. We have the highest out of school girls. We have the highest child marriage in the world. These are worrisome. And so it is not something that only one person can address. For us as an organization, we are constantly looking out for partners who will come and work with us. Come and join us in this work because we cannot do it alone. We need people who will support us with whatever thing you want to support us with because our major target is to empower the girl child. We empower the girl child through education. We empower the girl child by reducing gender-based violence. We empower the girl child because climate change is even constantly making these girls more vulnerable. The whole rivers are drying up in the rural communities. There is no water. They go a long way into the bush to fetch firewood. And in the course of doing that, they are constantly abused, constantly raped. And you find there is high level of teenage pregnancy. Even right now, as I speak, we are dealing with a whole lot of them. Even some of the girls we are supporting in school, you will find that because of not having pads to use, they are vulnerable to this abuse, and it is eating me up as a person. So we are calling on everybody. Is there a way you can help? Do you know of any organization that can work with us? Are you Can you on your own as an individual support the work we are doing to ensure that we're able to empower the girl child to complete her at least basic education. This is a major worry for us, and we really need a partnership in that level.
Yeah, thank you. As we're drawing the curtain for the day because of time and because I'm moving into another serious schedule. Thank you, mommy. I think we'll have time. A lot of people are asking me here in comments that I will have to bring you back. That they are not, they are not. There is not enough what we have dished out today. A lot. So I will grant the. We'll talk again. You will come. You will come back again in this show, and this is your show. This is Show of Africa, and their voices are heard through you. So it is your show. Anytime, just give me a little time. Okay. So, but before we draw the curtain, this is Chinedu Amici TV, the African
Thank
voice of
you.
diaspora. What can you tell the world about the future, considering what we are putting down to African people?
Sorry,
What
sir,
can you
it
tell
is
the
breaking. I couldn't get you.
I said, what can you tell the world about Chinedu Anichi TV, considering the experience we have heard from what we are
The
putting
in,
out from?
Sorry, sir, the internet got. I couldn't get your questions.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I said, rounding up, what can you tell the world about the impact Chinedu Anichi TV is creating? You cannot still hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, she wasn't hearing me. I'm rounding up already because we are leaving the I'm leaving for another program. So can you hear me now, Mom, for the final lap?
Yes, it's better now.
I said, what can you tell the world about Chinedu Anichi TV, considering what we are putting out?
Yes, I am so excited about the platform. It is a platform through which we can, hear the voices of not only stakeholders in Africa, but even the people, So, and the services the platform is providing.
Oh, my people, you.
Supporting the platform in any way we can so that it will continue to serve humanity. I am pretty sure that this kind of platform is needed in Africa for us to be able to share our experiences and also learn to watch, share, and support Chinedu Anichi's television.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. That it's not just enough to be an associate professor, but when it comes to pragmatic analysis and appraisal, when it comes to conversations like this, you will know the stuff of which somebody's made. You see, Nigeria respects certificate a lot, but the side where I am in America believes in pragmatism. They believe in empirically observable, evidence of what you think you have acquired. And I know you have really found a road into the heart of us. Some of this, the imprints of the ideas you have shared today to our listeners will remain indelible in our psychosomatic structures. And I'm joining you today for girl child crusade in Africa because you just made another disciple. Listening to you, I was convinced beyond reasonable doubt that we are not doing enough to emancipate our girls. Thank you for coming to this show, Mommy. Time will not permit us to go longer than this, but I promise this platform. I don't mince with my words, and I promise you and your followers and your group that I'm going to bring you back again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you, all the viewers, listeners that kept faith with us. We appreciate you, we feel you, and we hope to meet with you again soon, very soon. Thank you.
Yeah, it was very successful. You see a lot of comments and reactions, both from Instagram, both from YouTube, from X, from everywhere. So thank you for showing up. Yeah, thank you. So next time, we're going to plan how to bring you back so that we'll give you enough time. Your show is not a show of short shows. You really need to have time because what you are talking about is something we cannot play down. It's very, very, very important. And I'm thinking of also getting somebody that you are going to share with. The day you'll be talking, you will have another person. So because the person is also this Allo, Professor Allo, Ambassador Allo, Ambassador Elumelu, the Tony Elumelu's assistant. So she's in consonance with me. So I think I'll make sure that both of you will come in this show.
Thank you,
and
sir.
I've also create an opportunity for you to appear in other shows, that is even bigger than mine. So because I believe that you can really represent well and you have something serious to project to the world. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have me. Thank you.
Okay. You see love emojis? You see love
emojis? Yes, I'm seeing it, sir.
So the people appreciate you and they are so happy you were here.
Thank you.
Don't forget it in Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Hello, my people. You have seen what a professor means. When they say an associate professor, you know what it means. She is here and she has delivered. So we're going to bring her back again. So please support the girl child. Do everything possible. Think of their organization. Support the organization, no matter whatever, no matter how small. No matter how small, whatever you have, give to the organization. Okay, okay. What you do, you give me your flyer, I'm going to post it. I'm going to post your flyer differently and write for those who can support you. I'm going to post, you send me your flyers, I'll post it and write your numbers and contacts, how they can contact you for those who want to help you. I'm going to post that one differently. So thank you.